welcome back to etc. And this took so long to build. This, if you don't recognize it behind me, is the ghost from Star Wars Rebels, recommended by Hyperbricks. Shout out. Thank you for the request, but why did you decide to request the hardest ship to build in the Star Wars universe? This was awful to build. I mean, it's a cool ship and all, but it's probably the most awful ship to build. It's diagonals, which, if any of you builders out there know, is probably the most annoying axis, I guess, to work with in building in Minecraft. But this took so long. I was expecting to get this video out in like 2 or 3 days. It took about 5 days. This was a really sucky build. You may notice the bottoms may not be symmetrical. I tried my gosh diddly dang hardest on this. It took so long. It's not horrible, but it's not the best I've ever done in my life either. There's no interior. Sorry, bro. Hyperbricks. I couldn't get to it. I wanted to get this video out, and I didn't want to spend any more time on this ship. And yeah, if this is a tutorial for you, but if you have a struggle making it, just know, so did I. But this is going to be a less traditional tutorial compared to my other ones in the studio over there, where I build it up again in the studio. And the reason why I'm not doing that is because I'm not building this a second time. It was awful. It was wretched. But it's still going to be a tutorial nonetheless. I'm going to show you the basics on how to build it and then expand it and then make it better than this pancake of a ship, as you see here. But little run through of the ship, not too much. There's not an interior, but the cockpit, you can see there's nothing behind it. But yeah, the first cockpit, the circle cockpit, where like Hera spends 99% of her time at. The second cockpit, I wouldn't call it the gunner's cockpit, but I don't know. And the gunner's swiveling turret. I have a little confession to make. I never watched Star Wars Rebels all the way through. I watched the first season when it first came out back in like 2014. Got really bored because I thought it was bad. And then when season 2 came out and everybody said it was really good, I never watched it. But apparently it's really good. And like the battle between Ahsoka and Darth Vader or Anakin, I just got that off of YouTube and was like, oh yep, check that off my Star Wars list. But yeah, so I mean, I never watched Rebels all the way through and only got like bits and pieces of the Ghost. But let's get on to the tutorial. Less about me talking about how dumb I am. But first, for say the cockpit, this is where I started off. You're gonna want some green stained glass and gray stained glass. And you may think this seems very odd, but the actual cockpits of the Ghost have a greenish tint. But basically what you want to do is make a circular shape, just like the I shouldn't say 1,000, the 4 other ships I've made. I make it sound extensive. But so just basically make a circle, 2 diagonal, 2 down, diagonal, 2 across, diagonal, 2 up, and then basically pop it out one, and then get your gray stained glass. Not gray stained glass. I chose the wrong one in the creative inventory. I mean the not the gray stained glass. Gotta yeet that out of the window. There we go. Black stained glass, and basically do the same thing, just on a smaller scale, so it fits inside it, but popped out 1 block vertically, and then basically 2x2 punched out. So that's the cockpit, and then just extend that same shape out like 2 or 3 blocks. This little, I believe this is orange terracotta? Yeah, orange terracotta speech, as the, just a little detail that the actual ghost has. This is where you would actually enter the ship, and I was gonna do a piston door. There was no room for the piston door, as you can see. It was just gonna be 2x2, like on the Mantis over there, but there's no interior anyways, so I didn't do it. For any of you guys trying to build this out there, specifically you, Hyperbricks, because you're the one who requested this, feel free to make any modifications. Do the interior however you would like, as if you want to make it directly to just like the Ghost in Star Wars Rebels. I may do a second part to this where I do the interior and redo it, but for now, I'm not doing it. Second cockpit, somewhat similar. Black stained glass, basically make a staircase, 1 up, 2 across, and then 3 on top, and then basically get your green and then make this kind of shape. Wow, I suck at explaining. But next up is these little headlights that the Ghost has for some reason. They're basically searchlights, but basically they have this black strip in the middle, and then the 2 lights, and then some protrusion, which I used iron trap doors as. This is 5 blocks across, and I used honey blocks with sea lanterns behind them, as you can see. I gotta replace that now. Honey blocks with sea lanterns behind them. What did I do? Honey blocks with sea lanterns behind them to not make the sea lanterns stand out too much. If I just use, say, yellow stained glass, but they still do shine through, and it gives a really cool effect. I got that from Exuma on the Hermitcraft server. Feel free to check him out. He's a real cool guy. But yeah, and then some like support things. But yeah, for the actual main structure, moving on here, what you want to do is, so basically the basis of it, and if you want to make it better than mine, go 1 2 out 1 1 2, and then do the same thing, and then you want to start a pattern. Yeah, and then you want to start a pattern. So you want to go 1 and then out, and then 1 2, basically side 1 2, side 1. I messed it up, but so basically this is the pattern you're gonna want to make. I should stop explaining stuff and like do a visual model. So for the start, you're gonna want to go like that, just make a Tetris piece, and then 1 2 3, side 1 2, side 1 2. Wow, I explained that really bad. This is how my mental model does it. So 1 2, because you already got that piece there, and then side 1 1 2, side 1, side 1 2 2, and basically do that until you get to the end. And then after that, to give it the height that you're wanting, is basically do the exact same thing but on top, just like so. And I failed at doing my own instructions. That's why it looks like a deflated pancake, if you can deflate pancakes. And then basically do the exact same thing over and over again until you get your desired height. But I'm doing this in a really bad order. I should probably do it in the way that I did it personally, and that was, after I made this cockpit, I extended it out 3 blocks with white concrete and then some light gray concrete. Oh, I should say beforehand, these are some of the materials you'll need, not all of them, but some white concrete, light gray concrete, black concrete, red terracotta, lime terracotta, yellow terracotta, honey blocks. Only gonna need like 4 lime stained glass for the cockpits, black stained glass, yellow stained glass, and then some sea lanterns, iron trap doors, some other bits and bobs here and there, but they're mostly for detail purposes. The main ones are going to be the concrete. You're going to need a lot of grinding in a desert and a gravel biome if you're going to try at all to build this in survival, along with a serious squid and bone farm, along with some flower farms. But, so yeah, after that, you want to make this kind of almost M shape. So just like, say, up 3, side, up, and then over the 2, and then basically do the same thing on the other side with the red concrete, and fill in the empty gaps with the white concrete. After that, you're going to want to go 3 out, up 1, 4, up 1, 4, up 1, 4, continue that pattern until you get to the center. After doing that about 5 times 20 blocks, and then you get to the center where the gunner's chair is at, go 4, down 4, and then go down 4, and then just pretty much extend this out, and then basically just extend that downwards, and then do the same thing on the other side, or do the same thing on the other side, but don't do the centerpiece, which is basically 1 raised up. And talking about the wing thing, you're gonna want to do the same design on this side. Yeah, you're gonna want to do the same thing on this side, but opposite. Wow, I suck at explaining things. But, so, the order you should do things: cockpits, well, the entryway, cockpits, or this is the way I did things, which I found most conveniently helpful. Cockpits, this long ridge thing in the center, and then next what you would want to do are this flat area that slightly goes up, and on the Ghost it's much more subtle, but I mean, I could have used stairs, but quartz stairs just don't really work with white concrete. They have that creamy texture, which just, no, don't work too well. But so you're going to want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 up, and then basically do the same thing up, same thing up, same thing until you do that about 4 times, and then, yeah. So, order to do things: cockpits, center thing, these side things, and then the wings. That's the most helpful way to do it. If you do it in any other order, you'll be pulling your hair out. And trust me, this ship already sucks enough to build, and my explanations probably suck a whole lot. So if you're having troubles building this thing, you're having troubles, rightfully so. Don't think this is any easy thing to accomplish. But onto some design aspects. The Ghost has some like markings, I guess. I used the yellow terracotta instead of the yellow concrete for the obvious reason that it's way more subtle, and basically make this L shape, and then L fitting into another L, basically just like if I can show you, basically just like this. That's how I envision it. L fitting inside another L. And basically just do that diagonally from one corner to the other corner, almost. We don't talk about that block. And then another design aspect is the lime terracotta here that makes this little, I don't know, kind of design thing, I guess. And it varies which picture of the Ghost you look at. The picture of the Ghost that I was looking at was from Wikipedia, and it had these design aspects along with this thing that I'll get to in a few seconds. But yeah, and then when I saw pictures from the actual show, it didn't have this, so I decided to include it anyways, because it's easier for me to include it than for you to rip it out. Wait, no. I mean, it's easier for me to include this than for me to not include it and then you guys being confused. But basically, you're gonna want to go 2 and then diagonal and then basically 2. Oof. And then 2 and then basically the same thing on the other side. Fill that in flush with the floor, as you can see, and basically make that flush with the whatever this box thing is. Do the wing on the other side, of course, obviously. Do the exact same pattern, the whole thing that I failed at, basically the 1 2 1 2 1 1 2 3 1 2 1 1 2 3 1 1 2 wait 1 yeah, that thing, but basically just do it in the opposite direction. If I'm confusing you because the other thing I did, I said 1 1 2, that's just a different way of looking at it. In my mind, when I was building it, I just saw there's a block already there, so I counted off the 2 spaces. That's how I've always been doing it. But also what you're going to want to do, this is 8 across, but to separate your wing from this thing, whatever it's called, I don't know, the flat piece, put some gray, light gray concrete. This is not an actual design aspect. This is actually a shadow as part of the ghost, if you actually see it on, say, Wikipedia. But, like, it just makes it divided and nice and orderly. And do that on the other side, because otherwise it's going to be very white everywhere. After that, gray concrete along here, light gray concrete, and then some more light gray concrete. This is about 6, and then 6, and then down, and then basically same thing, 6 width, and then go 1 2 3 4 5 6, 6 across, and yeah, 6 by 6, this little flat thing. And I'm not really sure what these are. I believe these are escape pods. I should probably rewatch Rebels and watch the 2nd season. And did they come out with more seasons than 2? I don't know. I have Disney Plus. I can watch it anytime. But do this little design thing where basically you go down from the edge until there's 1 left, and then basically just make a kind of staircase thing. Make that 2 wide, and then go out 2 up, and then side. My explanations are probably horrible. You should probably just look at it yourself and then deduce how to do it, because my explanations probably suck. But next, go down 2 from that, and then do this strip of light gray concrete. Then basically 1 2 3 4 by 6, and then leave 1 space on the edge. And this is when gray concrete comes into play, that I only realized was a thing that existed after I finished like half of this thing. That would have been a good thing to know for like all my other builds. I just completely dismiss gray concrete because I always thought it looked too similar as black, but it's good because black concrete's very black, and if you want something more subtle, the gray concrete is just great. But basically 3 by 6, 3 by 4, and make this kind of pattern and drop it down. This one's only 3 wide, but same pattern, same thing, and then same thing. And then basically what you're going to want to do here is for the escape pod that I believe it is. If this is not an escape pod, you guys can yell at me down at the comments section, because I'm probably wrong and this is probably not an escape pod at all. But basically 4 across, 4 by 2, and then 2 by 2 on top. You know what? I'm not even going to bother removing that. And then after that, you're going to want to make the same shape as the cockpit here, just with the gray concrete? Yeah, the gray concrete, and then basically make that same circular shape and do the exact same thing with the gray concrete, or light gray concrete, except extend these sides a little bit. Actually, this is not the same. This is going to be 3 down instead of 2 down, but otherwise exactly the same. And put these two like little knobs. For the backside, do the exact same thing as that, because I suck at building. That's all I can say. Yeah, you're gonna want to do the same thing on the back sides as the front side, except a little bit more steeper so it gets up to the top. And ignore the fact that this is not symmetrical. I hate it too. I forgot to do that. But do the same thing, because I really messed it up, and there's absolutely no way for me to explain how in the world to do this pattern. Just do the exact same thing that I showed you how to do a few minutes ago, and you'll be way, way, way happier. Oh, you know what I forgot to show you? The two patterns here. This is using the same yellow terracotta, but basically punch it in from not the direct outer point, but the inner outer point, I guess, and basically connect them by the diagonals. And yeah, next what you're gonna want to do is not use the green concrete because it looks like barf. Use the lime instead, but basically make the same zigzag pattern in it, and then up one block. But here, just look at it and then see how to do it, because I have no idea how to describe it. Make sure to pause the video then if you're trying to do it in real time. I'm not gonna say you need help, but you're gonna need help. So yeah, do the same thing for that wing on that side, and then we get to the back side. I have no idea what these things are in the back. I never watched, or well, I watched Rebels. I just don't remember it too well. And these things, I know they look like H's, but like very elongated H's. It looks like it could be a helipad, but yeah, basically go from the edge one, and then up two diagonal, and then till you get to the side, and fill it in with gray concrete. And then I put this here because it has like a little sliver of contrast in there. But yeah, another thing that I forgot to explain that I'm forgetting a lot of things. Sorry, I just got Alzheimer's. Crap. The gunner's seat, basically 4x2, 4x2 on both sides, and then on all sides until it drops down along with this thing. I don't even know what it is. I should really watch Rebels. I should have watched Rebels before doing this episode. Or video, not episode. I've been watching too much Hermitcraft. See, I should spend my time watching Rebels instead of Hermitcraft. But, basically, make this kind of arc shape and punch in the middle with your black stained glass. And use these oak fence gates. They work really well as turret things, and yeah, red terracotta also. But to the thrusters, you're gonna want to make a 1x1x1 basically circle, or as circular as you can get, and extend that out a few blocks until it's hanging off the edge by one block. Put in some light gray concrete instead, and basically I'll make that mega sized by doing it 2 down instead, and then diagonal, 2 up, 2 down, whatever way you're looking at it. And then go back 2 blocks, so right here is where the sea lanterns are at, and basically you're going to want to put them all in there for that layer, and then fill the rest in with yellow stained glass until it pops out one layer as the thrusters. And I know what you're going to say, I didn't do my lecture on thermodynamics this time. Well, that's because if I did do it, it would just look really weird, and say I put orange stained glass in the back there, it looks really weird and I did not like it, so I just didn't do it this time and just kept it monochrome, or monocolor? I don't know what the term is. But for these ones, this is basically going to be 2x2x2x2 with the, or well, I guess it's 3x3x3 with the corners punched out. But do the same sea lantern trick for both of these. Just bring this one down. And then the bottom is literally a nightmare. I fully recommend to do the bottom before you do the top, because if you do the top first, which gives you a sense of completion, you're not going to want to do the bottom. And when you do the bottom, it's all dark, you can't see anything, and you mess up a lot of things. So do the bottom first. So my checklist earlier in the video was completely wrong. What you should do first, the bottom wings, which is the exact same design as the top. You should do the exact same thing, just backwards, I guess. You can always extend this downwards to scale it. The back's downwards, the front's downwards to scale it. But do the exact same thing. So it's become, so you don't end up like this unsymmetrical, non-symmetrical, asymmetrical, I don't know what the word is, asymmetrical, that's what it is, mess of a bottom that you can't see too well because of lighting issues. This is Xbox, and it's Minecraft. What do you expect? But yeah, do the same thing. Do it better than me, because I don't know what to say. But shout out to Hyperbricks for recommending the Ghost. But bro, could you not, next time if you do a recommendation ever again, could you please recommend something easier, not Diagonal Alley? Sorry. But yeah, thanks for the recommendation. Please consider subscribing. Por favor. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like. Hopefully you found this helpful. I can't follow my own directions, so I hope you guys can follow my somewhat riddled directions. I probably forgot a thing or two. But thanks for watching. Hope you found this video helpful. Please subscribe, and goodbye.